I thought I was working for our future, but when I fell, they didn't offer a hand, they took out a calculator. My knee snapped at 2 p.m. I was carrying a 6-tier wedding cake for Torin's client. Weight of the structure, 30 kilos. I fell onto the concrete path. The cake stayed up. I took the hit. I lay on the grass, unable to breathe from pain. Torin ran over 5 seconds later. He didn't look at my leg. He was checking the fondant on the bottom tier. Intact, he exhaled. Maris, my mother, followed with a tablet. She crossed a line off the to-do list. I asked to call an ambulance. Torin looked at me with irritation. He said an ambulance would spook the guests. The ceremony starts in 20 minutes. He ordered me to crawl behind the bushes and sit there quietly until they served dessert. I tried to stand, but the leg gave way. It wasn't a bruise. The kneecap had shifted. Torin threw me the keys to the cargo van. Rest in the cab, he said. And don't you dare moan, we're live streaming. They carried the cake into the tent. I was left lying on the ground behind the catering kitchen. No one came back for me. I crawled to the van. It took 10 minutes. Inside smelled of old oil and vanilla. I called 911 myself. The dispatcher asked for the address. I named the country club. The ambulance arrived at the service entrance. Medics loaded me onto a stretcher. At that moment, Maris ran out. She didn't ask where they were taking me. She demanded the medics turn off the siren. You're ruining the party vibe, she hissed. She shoved my work phone into my hand. The Denver client calls at 4, she said. Answer him, or we lose the deposit. The ambulance doors slammed shut. I rode to the hospital clutching the phone. The screen blinked with messages from Torin. Not, how are you, but a task list. Update the estimate, order flowers, confirm the menu. In the ER, they did an X-ray, torn ligaments, fracture, surgery needed. Cost $18,000 without insurance. I was on my parents' insurance as an employee. I gave the card to the registrar. A minute later she returned. Policy cancelled yesterday, she said. Torin cut me from the insurance the day before the event to save the quarterly fee. I refused a private room. The doctor put on a cast and gave me crutches. I called a cab home. The cab fare zeroed out my personal balance. Torin and Maris were sitting in the living room. They were counting tips from the banquet. Stacks of cash lay on the table. They didn't even turn around. I said the insurance didn't work. Torin wasn't surprised. He said the business is optimizing costs. I asked how I should pay the surgery bill. Maris pressed a button on the calculator. That's your problem, Jace, she said. You fell because of your clumsiness. The company does not cover injuries caused by stupidity. I went to my room. The door was open. My bed was gone. Boxes with decor for the next wedding stood there. Vases, ribbons, artificial flowers. My things were piled in trash bags in the corner. I asked what was happening. Torin walked in after me. This room is a warehouse, he said. You can't climb stairs with that cast anyway. You will sleep in the garage on the cot. It's more convenient. Closer to the loading zone. The garage was cold. The concrete floor radiated dampness. I lay on the cot without taking off my jacket. My leg burned with fire. In the morning, the sound of roller shutters woke me. Movers arrived to pick up equipment. Torin stood over me. He gave me no time for breakfast. He shoved a laptop at me. You can't carry, so you will calculate, he said. He gave me the database for 3 years. I had to reconcile debit and credit by evening. I worked 12 hours straight, without food. Maris brought me only water, she said. By evening, I found a tax error. They underpaid the staff $30,000. I showed this to Torin. He snatched the laptop. You are not an auditor, you are a calculator, he barked. He closed the file and deleted my report. Forget what you saw. That evening, they ordered pizza. They ate in the house, in the warmth. I heard their laughter through the thin garage door. They didn't bring me a single slice. I realized this wasn't punishment. This is the new reality. I became a tool that broke. On the third day, Torin came to the garage, not alone. A notary was with him. I sat on a toolbox. Torin placed a folder on the workbench. We have reviewed our relationship, he said. The tone was dry, businesslike. No more shouting. That was scarier. Maris stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Since you no longer perform physical labor, Torin began. Your residence here is no longer compensated by labor. He opened the folder. There was an invoice. Room rent, 1,500. Food, 600. Lost profit due to your injury, 5,000. I laughed. I thought it was a joke. Lost profit? I asked. Torin didn't smile. You dropped the cake. We gave a discount to the client. That is your fault. Total, you owe us $1,700 for this month, plus debt for past years of support. He pushed a pen toward me. Sign the payment schedule. If I don't sign, they file a report for equipment theft. They said the laptop I'm working on is listed as missing, and it's in my hands. The notary looked at the floor. He was ashamed, but he was getting paid hourly. I tried to stand on my crutches. Torin kicked the crutch with his foot. I barely kept my balance. Sign it, Jace, Maris said. This is a lesson in financial literacy. I realized they had been preparing for this for a long time. All receipts, all invoices. They were gathering dirt on their own son. I signed. I had no choice. No leg, no money, with a threat of jail. Torin took the paper. He carefully filed it away. First payment is tomorrow, he said. From where? I asked. Sell something, Maris replied. They left, leaving me with the debt. I looked around. In the garage were only my old things in bags, my gaming console, my vinyl record collection, my bike. That was all I had. I started taking photos of things for eBay. My hands were shaking. I was selling my past to buy the right to a future in this house. In the morning, a buyer came for the console. I sold it for $200. Torin met the buyer at the gate. He took the money from his hands. Towards the debt, he told me. He didn't even let me hold the bills. In the afternoon, I heard Maris on the phone. She was talking to my aunt, Torin's sister. Jace went to Europe, she lied. Yes, an internship in Paris. We are so proud. I knocked on the garage door glass. Maris saw me. She waved at me and continued lying. He is so busy, doesn't even call. They erased me from reality. To the world, I was a successful intern. In reality, I was a prisoner in the garage. In the evening, I tried to access the internet via the neighbor's Wi-Fi. The password didn't work. Did Torin ask the neighbors to change the password? Or is it paranoia? I checked my phone. The SIM card was blocked. Emergency calls only. They cut me off from the world completely. I was alone in a concrete box. A week passed. I sold everything. The bike, records, even old sneakers. Torin took all the money. The debt decreased by only $800. 6,000 still remained. Hunger became constant. I ate once a day. Catering leftovers they brought me like a dog. Stale sandwiches, pieces of cake. The sugar made me nauseous. On Wednesday, Torin came with a new demand. We have a banquet for a senator, he said. We need the full list of guest allergies. Only I had that list. I compiled it personally, calling the senator's assistants. The list was in the cloud. Only I knew the password. Give the password, Torin demanded. I looked at him. For the first time in a week, I felt power. Write off $1,000 from the debt, I said. Torin turned purple. You bargain with your father? I bargain with a creditor, I replied. He raised his hand but stopped. Bruises would ruin the image for Europe. Fine, he grunted. $1,000, give the password. I gave him the password. He left, slamming the door. I realized I sold too cheap. I should have demanded more. I couldn't sleep at night. I thought about the list. If they have access, they don't need me anymore. In the morning, I heard an engine noise. A big truck pulled into the yard. It wasn't food suppliers, it was a waste disposal service. Torin and Maris were carrying things out of the garage. My remaining things. Clothes, books, school yearbooks. They threw them into the truck bed. I screamed and tried to get out. The garage door was locked from the outside. I banged on the door with my crutch. What are you doing? Maris's voice sounded muffled through the door. Clearing the space for rent. We are renting the garage as storage to another firm. You are moving out today, Jace. Where? To a shelter. We found you a spot. It was the end. They squeezed everything out of me and were throwing me away like trash. The truck drove off with my things. I was left in an empty garage with one backpack. In the backpack was only the laptop, the very one they considered stolen. I had an hour before their return. I opened the laptop. Battery, 8%. I logged into the corporate email. The password I gave Torin yesterday was for a guest account. It only gave read access. Torin didn't notice the difference. But the main file, Strategy 2026, was protected by my admin access. All shadow schemes were there. Double bookkeeping, unaccounted cash, bribes to inspectors. I copied everything to a hidden drive partition. Then I ran an encryption script. The entire hard drive locked up, without the key. It's just a piece of metal. I heard the garage lock open. Torin and 2 guards entered. Time, Jace, father said. The car is waiting. Held up the laptop. I'm leaving, I said. But this laptop comes with me. Torin smirked. Take it. He nodded to the guard. The guard stepped toward me. If you take it, the data goes to the IRS, I said quietly. Torin raised his hand, stopping the guards. Bluff, he said. I turned the screen around. There was a timer. Automatic send in 10 minutes if I don't enter the code. It was a lie. There was no timer. It was just a screensaver. But Torin didn't understand software. He only knew money. His face went white. An IRS audit would destroy them in a week. Prison, confiscation, disgrace. What do you want? He asked. His voice trembled. Maris entered the garage, sensing something wrong. She saw the screen. She understood instantly. We are family, Jace, she started in a whiny tone. Don't do this. I looked at her. Family ended when you billed me for food, I said. My terms are simple. Full debt write-off. And a plane ticket. A real one, not imaginary. Torin clenched his fists. We don't have that much cash right now. Find it, I said. You have 8 minutes. Torin ran into the house. Maris stayed to watch me. She was crying, not out of pity for me, out of pity for the money. You are ungrateful, she whispered. We gave you life. And billed me for it, I reminded. Torin returned 5 minutes later. He held a bag. It was the firm's safety cushion. He threw the bag at my feet. Take it and vanish. Sign the paper, I said. I took out a prepared document, the same one he gave me, just edited. No claims. Debt settled. Torin signed, tearing the paper with the pen in anger. I stopped the timer on the laptop. I typed a command. The drive formatted completely. The data vanished. I no longer had dirt on them, but neither did they on me. I took the bag. The guards stepped aside. I walked past them on crutches. Maris screamed curses after me. I didn't care. I bought my freedom. I called a cab right to the gate. The driver helped me in. Torin stood on the porch. He looked old and broken. He lost money but kept the business. He thought he won. I rolled down the window. By the way, I shouted, the senator's allergy list was wrong. I fixed it in my copy, but you wiped my edits. In your database, the senator's wife has no nut allergy, but she does. Deadly. Torin's face turned chalk-colored. He lunged for his phone. The banquet started in an hour. Nut sauce was already on the menu. If they don't make it, it's the end of their reputation. The taxi pulled away. I saw Torin running to his car, dropping his phone. It was my parting gift. Not revenge, just a fact they missed by firing me. I rode to the airport. The leg hurt, but it was a good pain. 50,000 lay in the bag. Enough for surgery and another state, and starting a new life. I took the SIM card out of the phone and threw it out the window. Torin's phone rang non-stop. I saw incoming calls on the screen until I turned it off forever. They were probably panicking in the kitchen, throwing out sauces, reprinting menus. I hoped they would make it. I'm not a killer. I just wanted them to understand the cost of one mistake. My mistake cost me a leg. Their mistake cost them their peace. The plane took off 2 hours later. I looked at the city below. Somewhere down there, in a big house, my parents were counting losses, and I was counting clouds. I stopped being useful, and finally became free. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel, like it, and click on the bell so you don't miss any more stories. See you soon.